Hello, hello. Welcome, everybody, watching this live or post. If you're watching this post and you live up in the Maple Hill, Boston area, Worcester, I guess they call it, we will be doing in-person free form reviews at the Northeast Disc Golf Expo. How come I don't see any peeps on here? It's not showing me the things. If you're in chat, say what's up. What's up? Thanks, Krev. Perfect. So, if you just happen to be up that way, I think it's only $12 to get into the whole expo. So, if you're up in the area or close to the area, it's worth going to. We're gonna be there again. Free form reviews in our little booth. We're gonna have a net so you can throw into. It's gonna be a good time. That is the 18th and 19th, and we're gonna be in the area around there. Probably a little early. Filming some stuff, maybe doing some clinics and stuff around. Speaking of clinics, if you're in the Georgia area, we will be doing clinics. In just like a couple days. This upcoming Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, I'll be doing clinics in the Savannah area. So it'll be at Hutchinson, and then it will also be at JC. So cool. Without any further ado, who do we have on? We get started in this. Go figure. I live in New England my entire life. Moved to North Carolina, and y'all go up north. Well, hey, we're coming down south. We're going through, going to Savannah. And North Carolina is super close to us. We're in Virginia, so you're way closer most of the time. Just a reminder to hydrate, my friends. Hydrate before the coffee. Okay, I'm just gonna start moving through this. Let me pull up our Discord. Thanks for dropping that in the Discord, Krev. Let me go to the form review stuffs tab. I'm about to start dropping people. Morning, John. All right, if we don't have anybody on here that I'm actually reviewing your form, then I'm going to get going. And if you are here, drop your Discord user. Impossible to find. Impossible to find. Okay. Well, we're going to go first up. The David Alcaraz. I do that every time I see your name. Okay, let's get into it. Oh, his iPad in super slow-mo. Boom.
knew it was too good to be true.
You're too good to be true.
There we go. I knew it wasn't your real position. It was just all fake.
It's all a fake. Fakes and lies. I'm a fake. I'm a phony. Most of this is looking pretty good. Decent stop here. We'll pull in the big guns right away. I'll show you. Hello, thank you. Click, click, clickety click. Let me go back here first. Depending on the angle you're trying to throw, it's worth looking at. Let me see here. A little bit more bend in the waist. Just a little too upright, I think. And in this position. So the big thing here is that your shoulders and your arm open up forward. Show there. Whereas you see Simon's throwing out this way. Means this back leg counterbalances this way. Right. You're throwing here. Your leg's trying to swing around. The chest is open up too early. I need a click demonstration. Okay, here we go. This is good. All right, so as you're coming through here, the legs are sore, so this might look really janky. But as you're coming through, do I want this light on behind me? I don't think so. Is that better? Nope, that's way worse. Okay. But as you're moving through here, you want to be here, and your hand needs to come out this way, right? And this back foot, consequently, is going to counterbalance out behind you more, right? So here, instead of opening up the chest too much or not accelerating the hand out away from the body too much, you need to hit over here, not in front of you, because now, even if you do an okay job of posting up, your hips are going to come around a little bit early. Your chest is opening up early, so you need to go coil with a little bit more waist spin like we were talking about. And then out here. And so some people, I think, can think about like where this back foot is countering this arm over here, boom, over here. So the back foot's just going to go opposite of the arm basically. Here. Your shoulders need to be what we call partially closed. Right? So that's the difference there. And practicing that's just like what I just did. You got to get your hand out sooner. You got to make sure that you're not just like rotating this back foot around. It needs to it's going to shift forward and counterweight behind. But again, that's because it's counterweighting where your arm is at. Since your arm is forward, your foot wants to be over here instead of here and here. What's up, Wes? Oh, the just chatting scene is not the same as the demonstration scene. It's okay. All right, who is on? Because I'll just keep going. I think I'm up to date on our chats, by the way, Wes. Bloop.
Adjust. Thing is this. You're gonna have to be bigger. It's big. Now go to where you be.
I'm here.
Okay. Now your face. It's massive. You gotta look the part, Josh. Look the part.
Magnumbo. Gotcha. Gosh, I still pity you in this field. Come on, give it to me. So did we talk about your walk up last time? Did we talk about X step last time? Ooh, sweet warmth. Gosh, Florida was so nice. I hope it's warm where you guys are at in Savannah, Wes. Quickly, Magnumbo. Whoop. I had too much weight on my heels. Yeah. Okay. So I would work on this last stop in this last motion here because we're getting a bit of kind of the workaround here. You see where you still come off of like the side of that foot slash like towards the heel a little bit. Yeah. Demonstration. I'm trying to think if I need shoes on for this. Because I probably do. Is there any way to make this light, like brighter? Or is this just how it's coming across in my screen when I'm back here?
Making what brighter?
When I'm back here?
I mean, that's very seeable. You look fine.
Okay. Okay, so it's just my screen. Well, no.
It feels darker up there.
It just feels darker because you got sun on your face. I know it sounds weird, but
Yeah.
you're comparing it to the sunlight instead of comparing it to the screen.
I got you.
Yep.
Okay, so this last step, we're going to work on stopping on this last step. And the reasoning behind this is that when you add previous steps, it doesn't make sense for you to twist it. When we think about a stop on this last step, it doesn't make sense for us to do like a bunch of twisting in the walk up, right? And to spin this way, because this is not a stop, this is a spin, right? So we want to work on this side step and stop. Right? So when you go to throw, you want to stop and then you throw out, right? So when we practice that, I would just practice first here. Can we stop? And I'm proving to myself that I can stop, not only by stopping, but by moving backwards, right? So now I'm proving. And then eventually, you stop and then you throw. And then you throw. Throw. And then eventually that works into a walk up. So we might start sideways, little 3-step, here, here, stop, right? So when we do that, it doesn't make sense for us to go like too far this way, then this way, and then open here, right? It doesn't make sense for our body after we worked on side stop, side stop, side stop, right? And this is where that analogy of breaking down the door, I think, has merit here when you look at it from like a lower body perspective, right? Because you're not breaking down the door by going woo and like continue to run through. So I think that this is like the idea, the cue that they're using for this because of this reason, because there is a resistance here on the front foot. So I would work that for a while and then add it into your walk up. And for a while, I mean, it's probably going to take a while. Like more time than 2 weeks or something. It's a lot of work. But when we walk up this way and we think about taking all of our momentum this way and then we stop and we practice that, then everything else that we think, right, the way that you're currently doing it is because you think that this is the correct way. You think that in your mind somewhere that it's better to turn and then unturn, some process like that. Instead, we've got to reprogram our minds to think instead it is forward and a stop. Right? So that's why I'm saying we go here. This weight here, that like stop doesn't work if you're on your heels, like we had mentioned last time. And just work this. Increasing, stopping. Okay.
Right. So the feel of what we're looking at right now is already very turny, right? Here's turning, turning, unturning, right? Instead of just go forward and then stop. Also, should the plant leg feel stiff when you rotate and brace on it? When you rotate and brace on it. So first comes, sorry, I'm like fixing my sock because I just slid it over. So first comes the stop or the brace, right? And there needs to be resistance there. Stiff is like a very tough word for me to want to use in athletics. But it needs to stop. It needs to be like firm. It's when I showed that you need to push back off of it to prove like there is resistance there. It's not a let's add just enough to like teeter on top and balance on top of that foot and then rotate. We want to, that foot is pushing backwards actually to keep the rest of our body behind our brace. And then the brace has everything run into each other, and then that's when the rotation starts. So should the leg be stiff? I don't think stiff is the right word. Does it usually straighten out a bit for people? Yes, it does, because once this hip starts clearing up and they're like pushing, right? This foot should be pushing back this way and or this way. Not the one. Here's the one. Bent knee. Right? But he's resisting. His foot is definitely pushing to keep his body from going over top of this foot. So it pushes back this way. Keeping everything behind this foot. So yeah, there's like an intentional push against it. Wouldn't say stiff, but a push for sure. Mm-hmm. I should get good with that transition. I'm sure we'll talk about that a bunch today. I noticed that my leg is much more bent. Yeah, it's because you're like continuing to move forward. Like it's just buckling under pressure as opposed to pushing back against the pressure of your body moving forward. So that's why I like the first little drill that I gave you, which was pushing back off the foot. One more time. And then it's here, right? Now I pushed off of the front leg, and now I'm back here. I actively resisted this instead of just going and like letting all my momentum go forward. It's like we pull the momentum forward, but then this pushes back against it. Right, and then eventually you can actually throw here, here, and then back, showing that we resisted with this leg, and then eventually you'll get here. And then eventually the whole thing. Mm-hmm. Who else is here? Let's see. Okay, Bryce. Bryce. Didn't you have this guy on here, Mikey? I thought you had mentioned his name. Is that your Discord name, Bryce?
because I don't see it. Okay. Let's just do a check. Okay, Randy's in here. Randy's in the chat as well as on the iPad. Ambient 31. Is it? I uploaded late, unfortunately. Okay.
Let's start finding people and see why they didn't make it. Let's see. I want primary. I want all. Okay, let's go here. Bryce. Searching. Bryce, does your last name start with an H? No results for let me look. Did you just share the file with us and you didn't send us an email? Is that what happened? Because I do not have a correctly submitted form review from you. Okay, 1 second. I have to make sure the things are all correct. Okay. Is your Discord username actually Burr Ice? Or is it just Bryce? Okay, it's Bryce. Yeah, just resend it with all the stuff here, and I'll just pull everybody who's saying that they're here that's not on the thing. Okay, let's see. Okay, this is correctly sent. Thank you, King of Queens. Go here. Oh. Well, how am I going to do that then? King of Queens, can you give access to the correct email? Okay, someone said that they sent the wrong one. You guys are killing me. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Where was it? Weight shift, sea bass. Okay, thanks. I'm here. On your list. No, somebody said something different. Oh, I just went back and checked. Jason. Okay. You got to grant access to the correct account. Wait. Am I on the correct account? Oh, hold on. This could be me. This could be me. Nope. Okay. Still with the correct account. You need to grant access. I know there are a lot of instructions to keep track of, but it's way faster for everyone if we keep track of. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move forward with the next form review of one that I have on the iPad. If you three would Yeah, so we have different... Okay, hold on. Ooh. Removing the comment because I don't want everybody to see the process of... I don't want all of YouTube to see the process. Oh, they came in.
They came in. They're so much smaller than I thought.
It's okay. You don't want them huge.
Good. They look kind of good.
They look kind of good. Some Velcro patches here. Make sure it's the correct... Yeah, just make sure it's the correct thing. Go through all the dealios. Okay, hold on. I'm going to look. Wait, is Ganon Burr leaving Prodigy? Is that what just popped up in my peripheral? Okay, let's go here. I've got this. Okay, this is looking good. Now, Jason, this is looking good. Okay. And Jason, we are in. So this is old. Delete. Now we got the new Jason. Bryce looks correct. Let's see. We're in. Yeah. I know it's not a perfect system. I know there are like a lot of loops that you guys gotta jump through, but realistically it's like there's a reason for all the all the hoops. One, to make sure that people who are paying for form reviews get the form reviews, and the people who aren't paying don't get them. That's why subject line and everything like that's so important. Because it's the way that we don't have to worry about people trying to get free form reviews. Because as you can imagine, people will just send that junk in. Not a bunch of people, but when you're a channel that does form stuff, it's like form review is like the title that they give you, and then they drop their thing, and you're like, okay, are you one of mine or are you someone random? Okay, Sam. Okay, so King of Queens is the last one we need. Okay. Getting there. Yeah, I'd like to be like super hard line on like just like, okay, well, you missed your chance. But I can't do that. Just because it makes stuff a bit slower when we do it this way, but you know, you guys are paying for the service. So I want you to do it properly the first time because it means like less of my time per form review, which means that I can keep the price low. So that's the goal here, is streamline the process and make sure people are getting what they pay for. Is he leaving? Hold on. Oh, he is leaving. Well, hey, Ganon Burr. Who's going to pick him up? Okay. What a late switch. I wonder if he's been throwing the plastic this whole time, like since January or whatever. Yeah, I for sure thought Alden was leaving when he started dumping all of his PA3s. What were they? On Instagram, like giveaway stuff. And I told him that. I was like, dude, I thought you were leaving, man. For sure. Leaving Prodigy. He's young enough that Innova would consider taking him, probably. Will Discraft put someone new on this late in the game? No, because they already filmed all the media stuff, right? Yeah. Ganon Burr replacing Crush Boys at Discmania. Yeah, it's not Discraft. He didn't give himself enough time to learn MVP. It might be Innova, though. He kind of fits the mold of what Innova looks for, right? Super, super young. Or like Grandmasters. Yes, for sure, Innova or Discmania. DD? I don't think so. Doesn't feel right. Trilogy fam doesn't feel right after leaving Prodigy. Castoplast? No, the thing is they have to be molds that he like already knows if it's this late. So everyone knows Innova molds that's playing right now. Yeah, it's definitely Discmania or Innova. It's just not enough time for it to be another option. Like you would just put that, if you were Ganon, you would just put that off till next year if it was like MVP. Okay. I know you guys probably don't care about my takes on this stuff because I'm a form guy, so I should get back to my form stuff. Okay. Infinite? And he still gets to throw Prodigy stuff? Yeah. The thing with it, yeah, if you go with the retailer instead, he doesn't actually have to switch his bag in any sort of time frame. So he could still throw the molds that he was confident with from Prodigy. So OTB doesn't seem like it's stepped up for like big sponsors. So the hip's going back here. So look at the amount of shoulder coil that he has at the moment, which is 0. Right? It looks like there's shoulder coil because the shoulders are back, but they're not. The hips are back. There's no differential between the shoulders and hips. The coil is the differential. Right? So now he's going to have to open up his hips if he wants, yes, here, right? If he wants any separation between the shoulders and the hips. Also, because of that, notice how he has to open up the shoulders here even before this foot is planted. Right? So here he is. Yeah, so it's a bit too... So overall feelings is you're too far back too early. Doesn't this feel like a Tennessee course? So too far, too back, too far back, too early. Words. I'm a wordsmith. And overstriding on the last step so that you have time to open up, right? But yeah. Oh, it's Ohio. Oh, I played a course that looked like this in Canton, or like where the tee pads were like this in Canton, so I could feel that. All right, so as we walk up, so I would suggest a one-step walk up here, just here working on stopping this front foot and taking more or less a side step here, right? So this rocking side to side, then you can pick up the feet. And just work here so we can get side on to where we're throwing. Right? Just practice that for a while. And then once you get this,
build backwards into more of a shoulder turn here and stop. And then 3-step walk up with the cross, still on that stop, still side on. Go slow for a bit. Boom, boom, boom. Here, boom. Right, notice the hips aren't going back and open. They're here. And we rock them back, but it's sideways. Right. So it's here, here. Not here, here. Does that make sense? Zach Pagic. Makes sense. How is the nose angle? I've had issues throwing nose up. Well, you're going to have issues throwing nose, there's a lot of explanation here. But until you can fix this, you will throw nose up. Right? But if you want to work on it, what am I doing? Demonstrating. But bending here allows you to throw up, which means that you can throw nose down, and your body's okay with that. But if we're here and we're level like this, our shoulder's going to drop into the swing, which means if our hand's dropping into the swing, we'll throw it into the dirt unless we throw nose up. So your body's like, yo, I don't want to throw it in the dirt. I got you. Boom. Let's flip that sucker nose up, right? So practice this with a little bit of bend in your waist. Just this stop here. And it will allow you to work on your nose angle. So I think I've already downloaded yours, Sam. I think this is you here. Just a reminder.
What? This way. I was pointing opposite last time. Anyways. Northeast Disc Golf Expo. If you're in the area, we are going to be doing form reviews in person for free at the Northeast Disc Golf Expo. You get a ticket, come see us. You get your value of your ticket. And then you go get all the other stuff is like massive bonus. Okay. Here we go. Let's see it. So what, Ganon just like dropped a video today that was like, I'm leaving Prodigy. So what happened? Whoa. Whoa. It's looking fairly good. Like, I mean, it's looking quite good. Let me say that. So the hips get back a little bit here. This is probably within the range of acceptability. What we want to make sure is that they stay back here. And there's like a touch of them opening here. You see this? So during this time here, we want the coil to happen way more. Unless you're throwing like an approach shot, which I don't think you are. Right? Which you can throw approach shots off of tees, by the way. Beeps. So I want this shoulder to continue to go back. All right? Watch this. Watch where your shoulder ends up, right? Once your shoulder stops coiling, your foot starts opening up, right? So this is kind of chicken or egg. What do? Do you turn the hips back? I think if you turn the shoulders back, generally you get the hips, staying back where they need to go. So, but this is a very, very small amount of shoulder coil, right? And you've lost a little bit of space. So, a few things. One, bend at the waist. Bend forward a good bit. Hiya. Hiya. See this here? It looks so weird looking from this angle. But look at how much shoulder turn Simon has here. We see his logo on his back, right? Like, and if we took away... Yeah. Anyways, we see his logo on his back. So we need more bend at the waist, like I was mentioning. More bend here to help create space on the backswing. And you need to make sure that you start coiling this thing all the way back to where Simon has his. Right, so look at here. His coiling motion. Shoulder coils all the way back till we can't see any more thought space on the front of his logo. Or on the front of his shirt, right? If you had thought space written across your shirt, we'd see all of it if your arm wasn't in the way. Right. So, but all the preceding steps look good. I'll demonstrate as a lefty for you. Boom. Here, if the hips are back here a little bit, it's fine. They just need to stay back. So here, you have got to make sure that we continue cranking these shoulders back. Sorry, I'll go true side on you. Boom, boom, here. And this is not a bad way to practice it for sure. Here, and then step a little, turn a little, step a little, turn a little, step a little, turn a little, till you get this thing all the way back, and I can see your shoulder. Yeah, I'm going to see your left shoulder here. Right. Also the bend in the waist here, so it gets me lots of space from behind. We're here. Boom. Right. Also, might help to think, my personal cue is actually, it's easier for me to think about taking this elbow and smacking someone, like elbowing somebody's face up here behind me to get both shoulders back, like that. What's up, Patrick?
We had a blast down in Florida. Patrick's the whole reason I went down to Florida. Patrick and Eric and Skylar and Renee. That level of bent, yeah. Yeah, flat is not upright. Flat is bent. Hyzer is more bent. Anhyzer is a little bit bent. But absolutely. Go check out
our Simon slow-mo footage with all the angles. Just look at how bent he is, every angle. Right. Now, that's not to say touch shots, right? If you look at a little touch shot, that's a power shot. Right. Ooh. Okay, so this is the approach shot. And he's like, oh yeah, he's still a little bit bent. But sometimes you see when they do these Anheuser approach shots like this, yeah, they're like a touch upright. But he's still, for this little Anheuser, just like 150 or something. This is the 151, I think. Right? And then you get the big one. 450. Look, still bent forward. Look at this. Bent forward for 450 foot Anheuser. Boop. So, there is that. Boom. What? Loading video failed. Okay, hold on. Let me see what's up with this. Why did it fail? Sometimes the video file is not. Okay, let's go here. This is it. Open. I'm trying to upload your video, Jason. And I don't think it wants to work. Okay, so what's happening with Ganon? Rumors have been swirling about Ganon going to Discmania for a while. Yeah, I mean, I would hope Discmania. He's worth a lot of money, and Discmania is willing to pay their players, so I prefer that over Innova, who doesn't pay that well. Not from what I've read. Dude. Jason, I don't know why it's not liking your... Yep, I'll put you on the docket here, Ryan. It does not want me to download your thing. So I'm going to have to do your video like this. It's kind of janky, but we'll do it. We're just going to have to trust. Can I scrub? Okay, we're okay. I just can't draw lines. Texas State's last year, I was flagging on the green of 18, or on 18, just in general. Ganon was the only person that like got up and around the corner. It was massive. He might have been like, maybe not everybody tried. But I was like, whoa, he got the furthest up there all day for sure. So this is can I, okay. So this position here, wait. Oh. I remember a different Spencer Knight from Lynchburg. Yeah, so this position here, lack of coil. You can see that we're not looking at his right shoulder. It's like pointed basically, or it's like right shoulder blade. Right, and there's no tilt. Like his right shoulder should be below his left shoulder from this perspective. And I want to make sure that I'm careful with how I say that. I don't want you to be like this is comfortable. I'll show you here. I don't want you to be like this, like, and try to force this thing down. That's just uncomfortable. I don't want you to slant like that. But we use our body posture to accomplish this goal. We bend at the waist here. And so then when we coil back, naturally it's dropped below the right. You really, 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 really have to learn to throw with tilt or from a tilted plane. Right? Because here, if you're swinging level is basically down. Right, let me scrub to the result here. See the scrunch happening here? The disc wants to be thrown upwards. Right? We want to throw the disc up this way. But if you're level, the only way that can happen is if you go scrunch here, there. And that's the only way we can get a good nose angle too, right? If we're throwing down with the body and we need the disc to go forward, we have to scuff the nose angle because we have to drop the disc like this. Yeah, let me just grab it. Be using Mikey's ostinato. So if we're here, we're gonna scuff the nose angle to get here, and then it's also gonna tempt us to get our body over this front foot, because now we're gonna try to hop this back hip over top of this front hip, because the right hip can't move out of the way because you're standing on it, right? So that's why it's so important to get this bend here, and then when we coil back, this right shoulder is dropped and it creates loads of space for this disc to come in here. And now the disc can move upward like it wants to, or the shoulder can move upward like it wants to without having to scrunch. There. And then out. There. So I need more coil and more bend with my coil. Yes, you need more bend, and instead of going here, you need to go all the way here. Right? It needs to be here. Just practice getting as much coil as you can.
Whoa.
More twirly bird, yeah, 2.0, and then eventually you can just like work on it without that. But yeah, that's the drill that I use to get people coiling back more. When I bend over, I tend to almost always release on hyzer. Any tips? 1, stay bent over. Like we know that Simon throws 450-foot anhyzer with a bend in his waist, right? So obviously the solution is not stand up. So we've got to find the solution within the bend. So the solution within the bend is you can start like tweaking, like forearm angle here. Boom. But yeah, that's where you start tweaking. Okay, so I got a couple people that are on right now, and I think it goes JP, then Randy, then Martin. Wow. Nice facility. Interesting. What happened there? Just stand up. This is where I wish that we had Hennis form just at the ready. So this is rotating into the brace. So watch here. Watch how this back foot moves. See, it starts swinging open. And this left arm starts swinging open. Starts pulling everything around. And then watch how linear this is. Zoop. Watch this. With the foot, you see how the foot goes this way first? The first move with the foot is here. It's not around. and the hand slides in. Sorry. Slides in. Not around. So this is
a point that I've been this is a tough point to like understand, or for me it was. Right, and I've got videos that are unlisted on the channel that when I taught, it resulted in your current form. But I keep them there as a reminder of like, don't go back here, Josh. Like, always learn, basically. But you need a better brace is the end of this. You need to move laterally, and then you need to stop. And when we stop this foot and we move laterally into the stop, the rest of this, I think the easiest way to think about this is my current way, is to think about the rest of this stuff sliding forward. All right? You keep it loose, you let everything else slide forward that isn't this like foot. To an extent, this foot is resisting everything else sliding. The analogy is you're driving in your car and you hit something. When your car stops, when it hits something and stops, everything in the car moves forward and shifts forward inside the vehicle. Right? So we're doing the same thing. We are driving our car towards our target line. And all of these steps, whatever you do, we hit here, here, and then we go boom, and we stop. And this foot is the car crash. Right? So this thing stops right there. And when you take everything and it all stops this way, this all wants to slide in. Right? Or if I was facing you, another sports analogy might be like basketball. If they do like a hard cut or something, if they go here, then they go and they juke back this way. Well, everything behind this right leg slides this way first, and then they can change direction, right? So we need this stop to hit. And the reason everything else goes forward is not because we try to make everything else go forward. You don't want to take your left hip and make it go around, like forward and around, right? And you don't want to take your left hand and make it go around. We don't want the hand to open up the chest and everything. We simply want it to come in because the car stopped and everything shifted forward, right? Even if you look at my right arm, this is why we say passive into the pocket. It's because everything's here loaded back, right? So if I load everything back and I go into my car crash, when I go into my car crash, everything else wants to slide forward. Yes, some stuff starts opening up, but it's not because we're trying to get this all to open up. If you try to open everything up and go into your rotation early, or you force the rotation, in other words, it's very slow. It's a very slow rotation. But if you go and you stop, this stuff snaps into the pocket on its own, basically. And then you can throw the hand out. Right? So I'd work on that stop. Just like there are a couple ways to work on it. But I would work on the stop by going here and just learning what is a stop, and it's a change of direction, but of course we're actually not fully changing direction, but the pressure on the foot is the same type of pressure. So, and then the faster you go, the faster your car drives, the harder the stop has to be. All right, so I would practice here and just work on the change of direction. And even when you do that, you can feel your back foot de-weighting instead of twisting. So you got, boom, and it's sliding forward when you try to change directions. It's just natural. Cut.
I'm gonna order food.
Okay.
Do you just want that same place and do you want the noodles and chicken? Or do you want fried rice and chicken?
Noodles is good.
Cool.
Yep.
Boom.
You want to close that door?
I can't.
No, go ahead, please.
No, please do.
So there, and then eventually you work from, instead of a full back and forth, you go here and stop, and then a full throw, and then it comes around. But it's a throw with a stop on that front leg. Super important for getting to the next level. Where was yours? Here it was. iPad view.
See, so just watch. Now everybody can watch this together. You see how the hips opening up here as the left side comes in, right? And this all just swings around. He does a good job of catching himself balance-wise at the end, but it's just opening up. And hopefully you can see how that's different from this. The front side stops. Here's the stop, and here's everything coming in. Whoop. Post stop. And then, yeah, throws out with the hand. Okay. Zoop. Okay, so next was Randy, and then it's Ryan. Randy, I respect it. One time back in like 2009, my buddy John and I shoveled an entire tennis court worth of snow so we could play. And it had dumped it was like 2 or 3 feet that we, deep of snow that we shoveled. We were so crazy into it. And then that night, it dumped another 4 feet. So it's like, then we just found a parking lot the next day and just played inside a parking lot with the lines on the ground. Pew. Yeah, I don't think that the last step needs to I don't think it needs to be shorter. I think you need to come in with a little more bend on that last step, but also, okay, first, this position here where the wrist is flared out, like this, I don't recommend having it flared out here. Right? I recommend it being neutral. That would be if it was all in line with your forearm, or even curled. In both cases, it needs to be loose. But this right here is going to cause you to drop your elbow. Into the slot, right? That's a fairly low elbow. It doesn't look that low compared to Simon because Simon's more bent over, so his looks lower on the screen. But
looks like me.
Gunslinger.
Gunslinger. We both do the flare out.
You're a gunslinger, Harry.
You're a gunslinger.
Harry.
Scary Harry.
Yeah, I don't think the last step needs to be smaller. So, anyways, I'd work on that as a fix. But you need to make sure that you also need to work on your stop. We don't want your head over your foot here. See how this is pulling, your upper body is pulling over this foot? So this is balanced here. A-framed up. And when you start here, you start slowly pulling it over this front foot.
So coil, balanced, and then there's a stop here, and this stop is going to keep our upper body behind this foot. What you're doing is you're here, and then you're pulling this or swinging the upper body on top of this front leg, which we don't want to do. We want to stop, and that pulls us here, and this keeps our upper body. Sorry, I should be way more side on. Try again. Here. Behind this foot and out. Right? But keep the head, keep the body behind the foot. So, and that's part not slinging over with your body. That's one part that, and it's one part having this foot kind of push back against your body so it stays back. Right? So this is resisting and keeping us this way. We're also making sure not to fight the resistance here by going over top like this. Is that good wording for that? Not to fight the resistance. Don't throw your body over your front foot, and you should resist here with this front foot. So you're going to need your leg bent. If you come in straight with this final step, you were talking about size, right, of the final step. If you come in straight, there is no resistance. Like you're just going to pole vault over this hip no matter what. So that's why we need some knee bend coming in here. Because when the leg is bent, it's springy and you can use your muscles to resist, right? So it needs to come in bent so that you can resist that forward movement. As long as you're not overstriding, right, where again we lock our hips out, or understriding to where your body, like where your foot can't resist your body weight and you're gonna have to go over. You know, we want to avoid those two things basically. So some people resist this way, like sideways, and some people resist upwards. Boom, and that's how they resist. But you've got to use that foot to fight your body weight to stop it from going forward.
All right, one more view here. See here how you're setting up the pole vault. Or just wants to go pew, pew. Hiya. Should I work on my off arm as well with the stop? The off arm just collects. is probably the best way of thinking of it. Is like everything, that stop, just everything runs forward into that stop. I mean, that's where my current thinking is on it, and I think this is really like the best way to think about it. It's like I think that's kind of the better cue, is let the stuff collect after a good stop. Like actively do the stop above all else. So. Yeah, I'm about to totally revamp. We're going to revamp like everything on the channel. I'm meant to already take down the backhand beginner playlist, because I think the moves that I'm like really wanted to teach early on now is the throw out and the stop are the two things that it's like, this is what I start with beginners. I start out, throw out to the hit, maybe a little more coil, or going from out to the hit to a stop, and then nose angle. And I think you can get a decent way with those things. And if you stop on that, if you have a good brace, then if you have learned to feel the brace, it like with that being the end goal in mind, you walk up differently, right? You don't think about the whole like turning too far backwards, because it doesn't make sense. If anything, they'd probably not turn back enough. Just looking at the Simon form again, it looks like his hips are chasing the disc. When I throw, my hips are way ahead to like the target while the disc is in the pocket. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so now we do Ryan. So it's going to be Ryan and then Spencer is what you're saying. Make sure I have Spencer. Ryan? What's Spencer's username? Let me get you in slow-mo. Okay, yeah, I got sugar. Yeah, like this is a good example of this. Like the coil is okay. But he rotates too far back, too early. Whoa. My voice is like, is that my voice? Some guy on Reddit, just the best place to be on the internet, was like, I just can't stand that guy's voice about me. I was like, same, dude. I wish it was deeper. I should just talk like this. Lower. This one is me trying to loosen my wrist and plant better on my right foot. Okay, well, I mean, it looks like, for what it's worth, the wrist is looser. But let's adjust this arm position here. So we're going to look at adjusting this arm position. You see how your palm is quite up here? Right, we're actually going to flip it so the palm's more down, because it'll help us keep this elbow from getting too tight here and having this big old swoop that you have there. It's because the elbow is like going up, and then coming down. Well, guess what your disc is going to do? Whoop. Same thing. It's going to follow the elbow. Right? And then this stop. Stopping on your right foot, a very good thing. But you cannot... really stop on it if you're rotating and opening up here. You see how far back your hips are right here? So we got the hips going like here right now. Well, if you twist these suckers open into this plant, it's going to be really hard for you to really stop on this front foot.
So first thing, when we're back here, loose is good. Let's have it so that your palm's facing down a little bit. This helps keep it loose as well, by the way. If it's up like this, you kind of have to not keep it loose in order to keep the disc from going like down here, right? This would be ultimate loose. Right? And then you'd have to swing it back in the pocket. So let's go here to where the disc stamp is facing you a little bit, or the bottom of the disc is facing out a little bit here, and that helps you keep it loose, right? And it gives you more space in the pocket. Right. And then the second thing is just do your X step here. If you're going to work on the foot stopping, then first work on the foot stopping. Right? Don't worry about all the other pieces yet. So go, boom, just like I was telling with everybody else, right? Not everybody else, but previous people. Stop on the front foot, push back on the front foot, boom, boom. This is me stopping on the front foot, right? And then when you're ready, after you do this a bunch of times, then eventually you can add your X step in with that stop there. And I wouldn't even do an X step at first probably for you, since your X step is so far backwards at the moment. I just go step and then feet together. Right? Step, feet together, coil, boom, and then work on that stop. So, and you can break that up by going here. Good coil. We can check our arm position here while we're at it. And now, boom, stop. 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 Yeah, your right leg is like getting trapped right here. So you're going this way, let me think. You're going from here to here and then trying to slide your foot behind anyways, right? Which is really blocked out your right hip too much, and it's locked your hips out. So now you're like really pulling this across this way. And I can only imagine your knee doesn't like this too much. Like you're forcing the stop to happen when it shouldn't naturally happen. From the natural result of being too far back here and going here should be a spin out, right? So if you're going to force that stop when you've got all this stuff spinning against this leg, that's why this like fundamental move of like twisting this back leg in is incorrect to teach. But it's like all the same problem. You're just like locking your hip out. But yeah, you just need to go here, forward, boom, and let this hip go and let it pivot, right? So yeah, don't hurt yourself. May I ask, where should the toes point when having the last step, front leg? It seems like they might have to do something with the early opening of the hips. I mean, as you coil the upper body, the toes, the lower body is going to swing back. Your right hip, if you're a righty, it's going to swing back as well. And so your toes are going to start swinging more and more back. All right. So in the words of DG spin doctors, they should be pointing back diagonally a little bit. Or did he say a little bit diagonally? By the way, his stuff's great. Like, you should check out his stuff. The main things are the displacement, yes, correct. And the hips. It's displacement and sidestepping into a stop.
Okay, there's two things I need to look at here. We're going to Sugar next, and then we're going to... Okay, someone's asked me, the boy J Cags, JC the Short. Did you submit it as JC the Short, or did you submit it as... I have a feeling you actually submit it as your full name. Dude, you know how much I would love to have Albert's form on the channel? Tom. Yeah, I think, but the boy J Cags, I think just looking at your first and your last name and J Cags, I think I've got it. Dude, but you know, the Chris Taylor got a bunch of Albert stuff, and that's on, of course, the like that's on the Disc Golf Pro Tour socials. So, but man, what a month. Okay, I'm doing Sugar. Sugar. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I got you, Jason. Vertical video. Why? 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 He's just a boy. Bradley Walker? What? Bradley Williams? Bradley Walker is the spin and throw guy. I always say their names backwards. Who? Yeah, I was wondering about this. When I saw this here. I was wondering if he would be able to resist. So my buddy Seabass says that he thinks that this could be more powerful, right? Being bent here at this point. Or actually, at what point? Oh, I'm looking at a different point. If you go down, down, up, down. Yeah. Anyways, we want this bend here. We want to be able to drop, have these dropped here, which is good.
Just in case. Looks like it's half.
Oh.
Half router B. I forgot to. I need to get my other hands plugged in.
Okay. So I just like mumbled a bunch of stuff to you guys and didn't make any sense. Dang, bro, your forearms be popping off. Is this what a climber looks like?
Let me see. Is he skinny?
No, he's a little stocky. That's the thing.
Well, compared to his
What
upper
kind of
body,
what kind of sport does this build come from?
I mean, he's got big legs actually. Well, very defined.
Well, yeah, they're not big.
Right. He's got a huge torso.
I know.
Super long
Up
torso,
top, it's
yeah.
kind of like a gymnast.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah, let's say gymnast. Gymnast.
Yeah, he feels like a gymnast to me. Yeah, could be parkour. I thought wrestling, it was tough to say wrestling though. Because his I feel like the neck would be way bigger. Okay, but back to the regularly scheduled program. Oh, is this you? That Spencer? Is this you? Has anybody guessed it yet? The only thing with MMA is I feel like his legs would be a little bit bigger. And hold on. Yeah, no shot. Look at the ears. No, I mean, which Spencer? Is it this Spencer? Spencer Knight in the chat? What kind of donuts does this guy eat? Dude, I had somebody, like, is this donut trying to teach me? Like, I mean, not you specifically, bro. Okay. Focus. Focus, Josh. Oh, this is you. Okay, so this is that Spencer. And he has not answered what the background was yet. So, but has anybody guessed correctly? Is there even a previous sports background, or were you just born this way? Just right out of the womb, jacked. Okay. It's been a while. It's been a while, Drew. Hello. MMA and weightlifting mostly. Dang. I was wrong. I guess your MMA wasn't like a grappling background, or was it? Okay, so this is the big differentiator. The big separator. Ah, yeah, soccer legs. Yeah, it's definitely got some like speed aspect to the legs because they're not just like massive. Okay. Boop. Okay, so I want to get to the moment. This is a fun one to look at. Here. Where they're similar. And then move forward from there. So I want to look particularly at Drew's hip here. So here's the full plant. Here's the full plant. Let me find it. Okay. Here's where the stop is at. Right? Looks very similar. Now watch this. Let me go here. This will be made apparent in a second. Sorry, got to get back to the frame here. It's here. Can I do this without moving this? Perfect. So I want to look at how much more aggressive Drew's stop is. Right, and how he really keeps. So I circled in yellow the hips. I could have done the same thing with the head. There's still time. Boop. So we circled from this same position. Whoop. Before the shift is complete. His head's not that massive, you know. And then we went to hit. We go to hit. There we go. So I just want to look at how much the body has shifted. Right? Or in other words, how good is Drew's stop? Here on this front foot, right? So we see Drew's hip is still basically in the circle, even though it's a smaller circle, right? He resisted that. He didn't let the hip slide forward and the head slide all the way forward, right? Surely a little bit. But he's mainly got this holding the body back behind this brace foot here into the hit, where we end up being more or less on top of the brace foot. Right? So there's just like this a little bit more aggressive of a stop or intentional of a stop. We can also look at how far forward the shoulders have come here. Right? If we look at where your shoulders are pointing in the distance, look at how far away from Drew's chest this disc is. Right? Where you're here, right? So there's just like
That extra level of stopping. That extra resistance, that extra holding back. Where it's like here, and then once this stops, I want to make sure that I throw out nice and far away from the body. You need to work on getting this disc, boom, all the way out here. Instead of letting the body chase it forward and shift forward with it. And then you only get this amount of acceleration from here to here, right? Better stop on the foot. The hand throwing out away from the body, right? And I have people practice that by doing this. You're coiled back, boom, and then you stop on this front foot, everything shifts forward, and then from here, I have them practice this, right, with a stop here. Now, you only do this at slow speeds. This is not something that, like, I don't want you... Drew is obviously not stopping totally in this position here, but he is extending his hand out very, very quickly, right? And he's making sure that everything else doesn't just like bleed forward and bleed open. It's just like stop, boom, and the arm has to go out right there. And that's how, and we keep everything back that way, right? That's why this off foot for Drew goes way more behind him as well, right? Because he's throwing out way over here, so now our counterbalance is way over here. Yeah, and again, when we're practicing slow speeds, like we can stop here, right? And the stop doesn't have to be with your arm fully extended here, right? If we look at Simon, you'll see it's bent. I think probably optimally for the health of the body, this hit open to this point is going to be with a slightly bent arm so that it's not our joint taking the brunt of it. But also, that's what the follow-through is for, right? When the extension happens here, the follow-through collects instead of like if we actually just stop here and go and destroy the elbow, right? We don't want to do that. So we want to practice, and it's going to feel like a stop. Going back to that car crash analogy, when you hit another car, you don't think, wow, I kept going after I hit them. When you hit another car, it's like, I stopped, like I hit them. That's what the feel was. It was like, I ran into a wall. It doesn't feel like, wow, I hit them and I kept going and I followed through. Nobody thinks about that. It's like, that hurt when I stopped, right? So we need to think about this extension here and the acceleration and this snapping out. And we need to think about the stop on the front leg and the resistance. Thanks, Mitchell.
All right. I've been taking especially long to get through these today. I wanted to have more questions, but it feels like you answered all of them. Good. Trust me, man. You don't always want more questions. I can't step onto a disc golf course without having questions. Does not make you a good player. The shoulder shrug is not okay, but the shoulder shrug, we already talked about shoulder shrugs and why they happen a little bit. I don't think it's the main. If you stop and you let the stop bring everything into the pocket, you don't shoulder shrug. It's secondary for me. And if you're bent at the waist and you get to swing up, you don't shoulder shrug. What? Yeah, this looks uncontrolled to me. See here? Like now we're just falling backwards into it, and you're going to have to fight to not sling your upper body around. Oops. Clear. Try again. Whoop.
Your food's on the table, by the way.
Sweet. Dude, I just remember back in the day when somebody was like, every time I draw something, I go clear.
Yep.
And I guess it's because it was Coach's eye. And it would like flip the page.
It's Coach's eye.
And it triggered someone so hard. You're like, I can't deal with all this.
Can't do this anymore. That's it. I unsubscribe.
So see how the upper body is going to swing back and forth over the legs here. So see how the body's outside the frame of the legs here for the most part. Now watch this. Now we had to throw it back. You see how it's here? Too far back this way. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember doing this one last time. I'm pretty sure we talked about the same thing last time, too. Or something very, very similar. I remember seeing this form and thinking like, whoa, this guy's flexible. It's kind of Eric Oakley-like at that last second there. Here. Right here. That's Eric all day. Good, bro. Yeah, I really cannot stress the balance aspect of this enough. Like, good body position. This here, like, if I see somebody with their hips like this far up like this, I'm thinking you are about to throw the biggest sky anhyzer I've seen in the last week. Right? It's just like, pew, but it's so flat.
All right, so really spend some time. It's going to be worth it. It is going to be worth it if you spend the time getting balanced as you go. Every step. Balanced. A good balanced position. Go watch the footage at Goat Hill with Albert and Eagle first round. And just freeze. Like wherever you want in their throw. And use the period and comma keys to go frame by frame in YouTube. And just see their balanced body positions, how they're always within kind of the frame here. Right? And then this big coil happens, but they're still here within the frame of their body. They're still balanced. And so they unload from inside the frame of their legs, right? It's not here and then swing here and here, right? Falling off. It's so controlled. Here. Nice big coil. Good bend in the waist to get over this way, not this way. Right? And just learn to uncoil from here. Can you just uncoil from this position? And out. Are you guys Cobel? Coble? Coble? I don't know what that means. Here, coil. There.
I'm gonna half the slow-mo speed. What is this? I would like to answer. What is Kuble? Look how balanced this is. So balanced, so over the disc. Boom. He's just gonna unload from here. It's incredible. Look at this. This is a Sky Anheuser, by the way. Yeah, just make it natural. Just spend time and just copy like this last position here. Boom. Just practicing this position. Can you just stay centered during your walk up? Can you do it slowly? And what is Kublai? Should I be opening my hand at the hit point? No. It's going to snap out of your hand. Huh? There are 2 people in this chat that know what Kublai are, and they're not telling me. Maybe I don't want to know what that is. Maybe you're protecting me. How do you keep balance on the transition to the X step?
You start balanced. If you're here, then the X step becomes a step to catch your body weight. Because you're clearly here before that, right? But if you're centered, it's no big deal. Right? But if you're throwing your upper body forward during your run up, if you're just like, and you start that way leaning, no shot. Right? So you don't have to worry about when you're walking, you're not like leading with your head, right? It's just normal. It's just the same thing. If you just go like this, there's no need to have to worry about balance because you already have it from the beginning. Right. Couple. Oh, they're asking if Mikey and I are a couple. We are not. We are both happily married to different Sarahs. My wife's name is Sarah, and so is his wife's name. The Beagle has entered the building. Okay, now I think we got through everybody who said that they were here earlier. So, if I have not done your form yet, and you are here, give me a shout. I thought Kublai was like a word from another language that they just like threw in there, and somebody just so happened to know. Okay, 511. Here we go. Okay, here we go. We got the whole fam here.
Oh, sidewalk coloring chalk. Hello? I put it in halftime. Okay, let's see. David, I think we have, I'm pretty sure we have all of the different, I think you can download all that from our Patreon. $5 gets you the Simon and Drew footage. And the Andrew Marweed sidearm footage. Is there other footage that we have? Anyways, I don't know exactly what else all in there. But yeah. All right. So if we're going for more distance, more coil, more shoulder coil, and we want a better stop. So you're kind of blowing past it all. Your body just continues to go. Rotates together. I like the intentional throw out though. The hips just get too far back there. Yeah, most of your stuff is
Could be worked on with like final step work and then working backwards. Like just going from maybe even here with this, starting from the X and then there. All right, starting from the X, coil the shoulder back, right? And starting, boom, working on this stop here. So I'd go here, coil, sorry, as much coil as you can get there. That's one issue. And if you need to do the whole slide the foot as you coil, it's not bad either. Boom. And the reason I'm putting this stop before fixing the X step is because I want you to feel the final motion here where you stop before things start going forward. It needs to go. And then things start going forward, right? So you have to practice them in order like that. What you're doing is you're getting too far back here, and now you're opening a little bit as you go forward, and things are starting to rotate open before you're fully planted. So we're just acquainting ourselves with what does it feel like when we do this final step correctly. And then hopefully, after you practice that a bunch, when you go into your walk up and inevitably end up going too far back and rotating in, you can be like, whoa, that feels way different than what I just practiced. That's red flag. So I'm doing something wrong. What's happening? So eventually you can just here, feet together, coil. Not open. This work on the opening was good though, or the throwing out was good. Any chance? Okay, I did that. I don't know that it's intentional. Okay, you guys are talking about the other topic. But does this make sense? 5, 3, 11. Dreamu emu. Yeah, it is tough to do. I've been practicing that. We'll have a Instagram reel go up not too long from now, where like I was just practicing that on the course. It takes so much
intentional practice. So here is danger zone for these back hips if they open up. Yeah. So I'll explain the other way of fixing the same problem here. Right, yeah, and you want, like, that's what you want, is you want everything to passively move into the pocket. Like, that's where the brace pulls everything in the pocket, and you really can't stop your upper body and everything before that. Yeah, so this twisting here, keep your right hip on the target, and this is the same issue that Chad. Oh wait, huh? Who was it? The previous form review just had. So I'm gonna explain it a little bit of a different way, different cues, so that you guys can pick which cues work best for you, right? But keep this right hip towards the target during the X step, right? Don't turn it off towards us. It needs to stay forward during that X step, because you're just going to sidestep in the last step, basically. You're just going to step forward with your last foot. So it doesn't make sense for you to get this foot pointing this way so you can step forward. You just keep both kind of inseams in the foot going forward here. I'll show that in a second. Right, but now we've got this position. And he does a really good job of actually like letting that left side drop kind of into the brace here, to where he just like is real loose with that left side and lets it de-weight, and it's wanting to slide towards the target despite prior issues that we've already mentioned. But yeah, the chest is continue to rotate forward, right? If this foot and these hips are going to continue to rotate forward, well, it makes sense for everything to rotate forward, right? So now the chest is too far forward by the time the throw happens.
All right, so right hip towards the target the whole time we go. Right step, X step. It's going to stay towards the target. Right, there should be no turning here, because we're not gonna turn it open during this last step. So why turn it back here? Right hip forward, and now we load during the last step, and it turns off a little bit. Not before the last step, not during the X step. The hip doesn't go back. It's gonna go. It's forward, more or less, during the X, and then here. A little stretch brake. Forward. And now you can get that nice stop that you're already using. And when we go here and stop, the chest basically can stay here. Here's the stop. When everything slides forward, again like that car crash, everything in the vehicle slides forward. It's not like when you hit something in front of you, everything in the vehicle goes pew, like left and right. It doesn't make sense for like the stuff in the back side of the vehicle, my left side, to just like start rotating around in the car. It's not like it's a vortex. It's just, it all just, when you hit something, boom, everything slides forward. Right? So we're here, boom, it slides forward. It doesn't rotate open. Slides forward, and then we're here. So now we go pa-ching, out with the arm this way. Right, and I showed the back leg there, kind of just by habit. Counterweight. Right, and you've already got the counterweight happening. You've already got like where that leg needs to go. We just need the shoulders to not open up so much into that hit.
Yep. OnForm is a great app for that stuff. Oh, I forgot to do the
Blah, 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 blah.
yeah, OnForm's app that we're using. I really like it. And you can get slow-mo, at least the slow-mo that we have of Drew and Simon and Marweed and Philo on our Patreon, the little $5 tier. We'll get you that. So the over-rotation is mostly just a byproduct of closing the hips early. You mean opening the hips early? It's like, yeah, if instead of shifting in the hips, bumping into each other and then rotating, if you just try to straight up rotate, then you're gonna like keep going on that rotation, right? But if you stop on that front foot first, then the hips will rotate in place and they won't over rotate if your stop is good. I don't know if that answers your question or not. Okay, who else said that they were here? I thought I had 3 people. Someone said we are here. Where is it? I'm here. Okay, here we go. I'm here, that top sidearm. There we go. That's why I couldn't remember the name, because you didn't say the name. You said the sidearm. Yeah, sidearms. Love me, say that you love me. I would like for the wrist to be flared back already at this point. Gonna have some spin issues if you don't get the wrist flared back. It's gonna wobble, wobble. Take that wobble, wobble. And this is a nose up recipe right here with the palm laid all the way up like that. Oh, I wish I could see it for a little bit longer. The shoulder's very naturally clear though. Like the off shoulder does. The thing that I don't like though is how far this elbow is in front of this hip. Like, so 3 things.
One, the wrist needs to be laid back. When you have this off arm here helping you and touching the disc, like just have it lay back your wrist, because we want this thing laid back here instead of just like neutral. Neutral is when it's straight. So lay it back here. So that was thing 1. Thing 2 is don't flip your palm up so much back here. The more you have your palm flipped up, the more nose up it is. Right? Oh, sorry. This is the better view for you guys. Here, actually. Nose up, right? So you need that palm more sideways using this range of motion. Boom. And then we can get it nose down. And then the other thing is when you're here, we need to have this hip come forward so that the elbow is more like here by the time we hit, instead of the hip hangs back and then the arm goes by itself, right? This is recipe for a very, very not fun time with your elbow, right? So we get here, the lower body generates this hip, and then the speed of the hand adds to it at the end, right? But we don't want the speed of like the arm controlling everything. It's just too much to put on the arm there. So again, you should be able to go from here to here without even using the arm in your practice. The elbow can move back and forth. Doesn't have to stay tucked tight into the body, by the way. Just we want to make sure
that it's not from here the elbow just going ahead so far on its own. Are you guys going to be at Ledgestone Worlds Preview at Ivy Hill? Maybe. Not sure. Really not sure what the future holds that far out. Isn't that on March 7th, the beginning of March? There's a chance. We have a busy March, though, so I might need to make sure that I have those time slots available for students. I'll have to look. Okay, we got through everybody that I think was here. Is Patreon the only way to get a form review? Currently, yes. Because it takes the least amount of my time. There might be future sessions where we open up to other people and they have to pay. And then submit via other means, but currently it's just Patreon. Okay. If I don't hear from anybody else, I'm just going to start going through these last 6. Discord going off with the Ganon Burr stuff. I hope it's Discmania and not Innova. I really don't feel like it could be anybody else, though. All right, here we go. 230, 230, 230. Yeah. Next up on the block. Wow, this looks nice. This little turf driving range. He is getting ready to... Wait a second. It's way too slow. Hmm. So 2 things. 1, more unit turn. What's up?
Pause. That was basically out. I mean, they can still hear you, but...
No, they can't. They can only hear what I'm saying if they look at me.
Indeed. Come on.
Come on.
Might
I wanna
be,
dance and die.
one of these scenarios. That's the iPad. I need main cam. That's gonna be that, and that's gonna be that. Is your face in the way wrong place?
Nope, this is where I've been the whole time.
I'm gonna make you bigger. There you go.
Okay.
You good with that?
Then shall we check?
Oh yeah. I mean, that works pretty good if you... I mean, seriously, that's looking pretty decent. Good goodness. Okay, so give me a sec. This is extremely difficult. Why is it so huge? Okay. Okay, so this is this screen. I understand. So that's why it was where it was. We're doing great. We're killing it. And then demonstration's gonna be all... Yep.
I
that's
think
why.
our only audio source is this mic, so...
What do you mean?
Well, he says hot mic. That would be just turning down your device, I would think, at that point.
Right.
Because it's not like we're pulling audio source in from anywhere else, right?
Correct.
So we could adjust our mic level, or you could just turn down your device.
It's so savage.
I'm not intended to be savage, just like
Just turn your mind.
If we had music, if we had like music and other stuff
going, then
Okay, this is the
we would
last
need
one.
to adjust audio level.
Last one. Correct.
But since it's not those things,
Okay, so back to here.
Cool.
Yeah, and plus your levels are good, so
yeah.
yeah, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, let me just...
Okay, hopefully you're set.
Why? You going to do
I'm
something?
gonna go get those orders fulfilled,
And then?
and then I'm gonna head over to my parents.
Okay.
I'm gonna put the dogs away. So I'll see you later, forever.
Hopefully I'm set.
Hopefully you're good, bro. Wait, let me think. So you've got.
Okay. I'm going to continue going here. He just meant hot mic as in the mic is on. Oh. Well, that's not what hot mic actually means. But that would be live. Yeah, not to be savage. I just have, like, this is the one realm where I'm, like, actually a little bit technologically knowledgeable just because of music and all that. So, yeah.
Actually, how many more do you have left?
6 total, including this one.
Okay, I can wait.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so more shoulder turn, and we're not going to lead with this. We're not going to lead with that coming out of the turn.
Demonstration time. Yeah, you know what? Let me give you the benefit here and say that you were talking about Mikey. Michael. And you just abbreviated his name to MIC. That's probably what it was. Okay, so first thing, more bend at the waist, more shoulder turn. More bend at the waist, more shoulder turn, right? That's just practicing that. Right, if you want to straight arm it, you can straight arm it. Improve your shoulder turn. Not improve, and prove is what I wanted to state more clearly. Right. Second, after we get back there, the way to get from there to here is not that. All right, so it's not this motion. It is here, and when we stop, it all slides into the pocket. Right, so when we do that, if we're thinking here, like if we're thinking turn open, and the shoulders open and the head's trying to pull this thing forward, that's not what we want. We want here, and then all of this shifts here, and now the head's, center still. That's why the head doesn't go forward, right? Because we're not trying to open up the whole unit. We're shifting everything here, and then out. Right? So a little bit different of a mindset, probably, from here to this like basic twisting open to more of a linear move here and here. So again, you've probably heard, elbow down the door. I think that applied correctly, that cue could be a good thing in this instance, perhaps, right? We don't want it to be like arm muscles from here to here, right? We want it to be coiled, and then we go boom, and we hit on this front foot, and it's kind of a little bit more of a lower body thing. And then everything shifts forward here. And then you kind of like hip check the wall and then open up the hand. Would be kind of a probably better way to think of that. Ba-ching, ba-ching. Sound of chains.
Okay. 2, 4, 2. Cool. Let's get it, Senior Dalton. I'm so hungry. You should intentionally be opening it up, David. Like this right here, from here to here, you should be opening up your arm, basically. So, I want to track this. This left arm move in and of itself is not a bad, it's not intrinsically bad to have your arm out and away from the body like this, like way over here. What is bad is if you go from here and it's late coming here and causes you to continue rotating this backside forward. So watch here. The left arm's coming in, right? So the shift here on the front foot, this left side should be moving forward and shifting forward, right? We want to make sure that this left shoulder and this left side don't just continue going like pew, pew, pew the whole time. So see this? I was just consistently going forward, forward, forward. There's not a break in it going forward. There's not a speed change. It's just like this left side and left hip are going to continue opening forward. Let me show you the difference. Yeah. I'm playing with the big boys now. So watch this left side. You see how it's boom coming in? And so it just kind of lets it collapse into the right side, if you will. But look at this. The left shoulder, the left side is not just continuing to rotate forward. It's not like, ooh, we're just going to keep turning this. Right? It's much different. If we look here. Simon, stop. right? I'll just go through this 2 more times so you guys can watch. So pick one, Simon or Dalton, and stare at the one. Now pick the other one. Hey, why did they unlink? Okay, I was like, what? Now pick the other one.
So we're back to this, like, what happens with the trailing side, right? If we get all the way back here and we swing this arm all the way through and we continue having this back arm just go, then we just spin out, right? It just continues going. We don't want that, right? This is why personally I've really liked this elbowing when I coil, like elbowing somebody behind me, because I would never elbow somebody behind me like this, like straight arm. You would go boom, and you'd have this tucked. So just elbow them behind you. And then when we go to shift, this all collects in. You'll notice that Simon's back leg is more bent than your back leg, right? The reason is because he's de-weighting a little better. He's shifting a little bit better. Right? And you don't have to have like the craziest spin in the world. But that's just kind of evidence that he's going, and everything's collecting here. The more that this shift forward happens, the more your knee is going to bend. Right? So the more that you let this collect, in other words, the more it's going to bend. And when we shift forward, there's no reason for our left side to continue going, right? But if you try to rotate this whole thing forward, like of course it wants to continue going on this path, like this, right? But if instead everything in your car, like when you crash into something in your car, it only wants to shift forward until it hits the windshield, right? Or the seat in front of it or whatever, right? If you're in the back seat, you go boom, forward, because guess what? Now my left shoulder is going to run into the rest of my body here. It's not going to like continue to slide past my right shoulder, right? So it all collects, boom, here, and now you can throw out. And this is like the left arm can stay here now instead of continuing to just go forward. Hope that all makes sense. So the practice for this is actually a better stop on your front foot, a better block on your front foot, and let it slide in instead of trying to rotate this like left arm forward.
Next. Mm. So first thing I'd love to see you practice is the throw out from a standstill.
So here's your practice. I want to see smooth. Able to rock back and forth, nice and easy. And I want to see this. Slow speed. Just can we get the disc away from our body here? Side on. My target would be somewhere that way. Right? And here. I don't want to throw here. I don't want to move my chest open here. I want to have my chest here. I want my shoulders to be basically pointing that way. Right? And I'm moving a bit, right? I'm rocking. There's some turn here. There's some unit turn, but certainly not a bunch. I'm not putting a bunch of energy into the system right now. I just want... Boom. I would love to see this, right? And obviously we're working from a stopped position. Right? So this would be first thing. Get this. And then I would go a little bit further back. And can you just throw from the same stop position? I don't want your foot coming like around here at all. If you do that, mission failed. I want to see. And for you to stay behind it, behind this front foot. I let my hip come around when I added a little bit more energy, but I didn't let it go. I didn't have it go all the way around here, right? The stream is still going, right? So, boom, boom. Yeah, in the beginning, I want to stop, like nice and easy, nice and slow here. A good stop so we can see the extension. And then you learn to put the stop within the swing, right? So still slow. It's the hit, and so it'll look like this. I'll hold my disc this way. This is actually a good way to practice. Right? But notice that this acceleration right here, away from the chest, happens inside of the full swing, right? With the follow through. But in the beginning, nice and easy. There. And when you start adding any speed, we let the follow through happen. So that's first step. Here. You can stop at lower speeds. You continue going at higher speeds. When we practice, the stop is just to make sure we have a confident hit out away from the body. We add a little bit more. Good stop on the front foot. So that's what I would work on.
And keep your body back behind that front foot. It's an apt time for you to come back, Zach. In light of our current conversations. Conversation. Hello. Yes. Bring me the cube, boy. He's gonna jump over these things? This kid's got long legs, man. Whoa, some really cool stuff happening here. First, I must say that these being here is definitely causing him to walk in a weird manner. Right, so first thing is like practice. Like you would never walk around these things on a T-pad, right? So because he's definitely going to try to avoid it during this cross step here. And like swing his cross step this way. What's on? To avoid that, to avoid his foot hitting the lifts. I love his tilt. And then watch this. Boom! Big stop. Stays over it. Still bent at the waist. Keep this. Keep this happening. But I don't want you staring at your foot when you do this. I don't want your head to be over your foot here. I want your head to be back here. Centered. Centered, but with this beautiful tilt that you have. Nice commitment to the hit here. Good throw out. Man, it's great. We just need a little more balance. Right, you see how this foot's collecting your weight forward? Even after like a pretty decent stop? That's because your weight was too far forward there. Right, so keep your head here. Oh yeah, this looks very similar to Simon right here. Simon throwing less of a hyzer than you, so he's just a touch more upright. But look at this. Similar position. But now look at here. See how you let your head just lean over this front foot? Oh yeah. We don't want it there. Look at where Simon's is at. Centered. Whoops, I drew that line really bad. Ignore, ignore, ignore. Centered.
Right, so this is what you got to work on for the next little bit. Just not manhandling this thing right here, right? You've got everything leading up to this really, really nice. Boom, boom. But here, when you keep your head down, I want you to keep it down in between. You can practice standstills here, right? And put the disc in between your legs and stay over like that instead of here, here. All right, that's your practice. And you can do it from a standstill, and then you can work on walking up. But you are well on your way, just got to be more balanced at the end there.
Bebop, we do. Yeah. We would all love that form. We'd love for that to be. We'd love to have to just work on what the last thing that he's got to work on, right? He looks kind of like Greg Barsby. He does. All right. So, too much effort already. There should be no strain here. It's because you're working on already turning and moving up too quickly. You know this. You know that you're putting in too much energy for this. Control your body. You're already kind of like falling this way with the body, and then boom, the jump. So you have to swing the legs back forward to make up for it. The hips go from all the way back here. Look at this, to opening up as you stride. Spin. Okay, I'm going to give you the practice that you need. Still going. 2 reviews left.
Yeah, I was kind of taking a lot of time today on reviews. Okay, here's your practice. I want you to practice just 3 steps. And you need to, first, you need to prove that you can just do this to yourself. Here, feet together, and now coil. Right? Side step, feet together, coil. Side step, feet together, coil. Slow. This is balanced. When you sidestep like this and you stop, you're going to prove your balance. Right? Thus it is proven. Feet together in waiting. This is balanced. You have to take note of these feels. Coil and wait. We're balanced. Okay? If you never get to this point at slow speeds, you'll never get to this point at faster speeds. Right? And then eventually cross over. Balanced. Good. Balanced. Good. A little bit faster. Good. There. Boom. Right? And since we started with that side step, there's no reason when we just sidestep for us to be turning early like that, right? And when we go here, boom, it makes sure that we don't turn our hips early. You have to remember this feeling when you go to add your X step. You have to remember the feeling of your hips not turning backwards. Right? And we're going slow, so you can't use your hop to cheat it. I like the hop. I love the hop when it's done well. Right? But this is done well. This is done poorly. Right? Balance. Not. Unbalanced. Spend some time getting this fundamental down. It will serve you so well in the future. And when we sidestep like this and we get our momentum going sideways, now we can actually have a good brace and a good stop. But if we go back here, and we have to open up here, this is going to be a twist, which is not conducive to a stop, unless you want to break a knee, right? And dig the foot in, and now you're like bracing against a twist motion instead of the sideways motion.
Last one. One punch. One punch. Ooh, we got a forehand to finish it? Is that what this is right now? Okay, let's see. I don't think I've ever reviewed your forehand before. Yeah. Whoa. That looks crazy. So watch how he rotates his arm. Oh. I was like, dude, if you're going to submit a video, go for it. Now's the time. But, not 5 minutes from now. You know what I'm saying? So watch how he rotates his forearm. Just look at, like, the direction of, like, his palm. And watch how he starts slowly rotating the palm upward. See here? See how the palm is, like, really up now? That's what's leading to this. Nose up deal, and now he has to, like, rotate back against that. So the whole time he went.
So the whole time it was like, I gotta stand up to demonstrate. It was the palm started here, and then the palm started flipping up, and then he flipped back down at the last second. So it was, which is not strong, and it's not good for the wrist when we have the disc. It's not good for the wrist when we have the disc fighting against our hand at the last second like this, because we're torquing opposite direction of where the disc is going. I guess it would actually, I kind of feel it there if I do it. Anyways, so the motion is this. Here's your forehand motion. Take your hand, put it up like this. We've got like 90 degrees here just to show you. The forehand motion is this. It's not this. Hey, wave to the queen. It's this. Not this. Yes, this. Right? So when you're set here, like this, it's this. This motion here. Depending on the angle that I want, if I'm throwing Anheuser, I'm bent here, and it's that same motion. And now I've got a chop forehand. More flat would be more across, which doesn't happen quite that much. More hyzer would be same motion, just up, right? But it's always this motion. So when you're here, your wrist is curled, you're gonna go here, and now we've got this motion. That motion, not here. So eliminate this motion and this way. And then eventually we get here, and the hip is now leading like this. And at the very end, I go this motion. And the elbow can move, just like when we're here. Throwing a ball, right? The elbow's mobile. Free to move. Not like stuck to the side. Free to move. But it's this motion. Right. And now if your hand finishes down, it's natural that way, right? You can go here, hit, and then sure, it can finish like that. If you're going hyzer or even flat, hit, and then it can finish. It's fine. But it's not going to go up this way and that way. It's not a scoop and then dump. It's a that motion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Mainly that. And that's not like a scoop and boom and fall back. It's a slap forward. Did someone else from your team, Krev, send in a form review? It looked kind of like the facility you guys would be practicing in at the moment.
All right, friends. Oh, hold on. Finish the water. All right, friends, thanks for tuning in. If you're in the Boston area, if you're near Maple Hill, then check out the Northeast Disc Golf Expo. We've got the links here, Instagram links as well as their website. Check it out. It's like $12. You're going to see a bunch of really cool people. Plus, you can get a free form review. Free. Don't you want free? Don't you want free? All right, guys. You're the best. Onward and upward. Peace.